Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. I was thinking to do a video where I'm showing you some of my favorite fragrances that I use in different layering combinations, either as base fragrances to amplify other fragrances, either as toppers, let's just say to bring a bit of a different energy to the base fragrance. But all in all, these are fragrances that I love to use them layered, and these are fragrances that, even though some of them shine as standalone fragrances, but a lot of them shine especially as layered fragrances in different layering combinations. I know a lot of you ask me either for advice, like Lore, what could I layer this fragrance with, either for different recommendations, either if this fragrance would work layered with that fragrance. So I was thinking to do a video. I feel like even though I have mentioned honestly all of these fragrances, I feel like the majority at least, I have mentioned them in videos here and there, but I don't think I have ever actually done a video only dedicated to the fragrances that I use them a lot layered in different layering combinations. So here is the video, guys. Safe to say this is a very chatty, laid back kind of video, so feel free to grab a snack. I don't know, put me in the background while you do some cooking, while you do some cleaning in the house, while you wash the dishes, I don't know, but let's talk about fragrances. So yes, I have some fragrances here and I actually want to start with them. I have some heavier fragrances that I mainly use them as a base in my layering combinations because they add beautiful darkness or they add a lot of depth to other fragrances. So let's start with those. Now, a staple in my fragrance collection, either alone and or layered for many years by now, is a fragrance that's extremely affordable. It's called Majd al Sultan by Asdaaf. Asdaaf, you guys, is a sub-brand of Lattafa, and from all the fragrances that I have tried from this brand, this to me is by far the most luxurious smelling, the most edgy statement one, and the one that's the most refined and well done. I genuinely think like they had no idea what they created, like what a masterpiece they created when they came out with this fragrance. I recommended this fragrance in so many of my videos ever since I have started my YouTube channel because it's been a fragrance that I love a lot. I have worn a lot. I have to say recently I don't wear it as much alone, but now, especially since the autumn winter season is coming upon us, this is a fragrance that's extremely versatile to use either alone, either layered. So let me tell you how this fragrance smells like. So this fragrance opens up with a beautiful black pepper accord. Feels like freshly grounded pepper. It emanates that energizing, vibrant quality about it, but very spicy, quite dark and deep at the same time. And it adds a lot of dimension to the beautiful myrrh accord you have here. To me, the myrrh is definitely the star of the show, at least to my nose. I love the smell of myrrh. I am not afraid to go out on the street and smell like a church. I love how churches smell like. I love the smell in churches, in monasteries, and I love to use fragrances that are made around different resinous balsamic accords, let's just say. And if you haven't tried this fragrance by now, and if you love a good, well done, round and dense and complex and very smooth and luxurious statement fragrance, please test this fragrance. I received a lot of amazing feedback from various either men and women who purchased this fragrance, and I have to say 98.5, let's just say, of the feedback was very positive. There were some people who told me that this fragrance doesn't perform that well on them, and there were also some people who told me that for them it's too much. But besides this, you guys, scent wise, a lot of people told me pretty much the same thing, that it smells much more expensive than its price, that it's such a well done fragrance that exudes this royal quality about it. This fragrance legit smells royal. It's so funny because as I'm smelling this fragrance, I can tell you so many memories come in my mind from various periods in my life when I was using this fragrance a lot, and I created a lot of memories with it. Yeah, wow, best from Asdaaf. From what I have tried, at least, safe to say, I find it the best, the edgiest, the most unique one. And I have to say, you do not find these kind of fragrances in this type of price range. I feel like, let's just say, this DNA in particular is a DNA that you find, or that you would find more in niche brands that are not afraid to come up with something like this, with something like this, you know. But when it comes to designer brands, or when it comes to very affordable brands, a lot of them like to play it a little bit safer. So yeah, in this sense, this fragrance definitely stands out. I love to use this fragrance layered with a lot of other fragrances to bring a lot of depth, you guys. To me, besides this beautiful peppery myrrh combo, I also detect a gentle woody accord in the background, but in a sense, the woody accord only peeks through that warm resinous accord. The LG feels like it exudes warmth, like it exudes heat from within. And I find it extremely versatile for layering. You can use it with your designer fragrances, think with anything made around the honey accord to add a bit more sweetness and to that honey forward fragrance to bring a lot more depth to that fragrance. So yeah, that's the first one. 10 out of 10 fragrance for me. I still recommend it. I still think it's a beautiful fragrance. One of the most unique fragrances and well done fragrances you can find for 10 euros, perhaps 15 euros, I think. Now, I feel like a video about layering fragrances, especially when I talk about my favorite fragrances to use layered, wouldn't be complete without mentioning this fragrance at least. If you have been watching my channel for a while, most likely you already know I love to use this fragrance in various layering combinations. Also, as a standalone fragrance, I think it shines in such a beautiful way. But again, by the way, I have a dedicated layering video all about this fragrance, or let's just say about this scent profile. So if you have it or if you have other inspirations, please don't forget to watch that layering video as well, because I give you there a lot of amazing combinations. The next fragrance, you guys, is a fragrance called Arabians Tonka from Moattar, my beloved Arabians Tonka. Now look, you guys, even though this fragrance is amazing, like I would choose it with my eyes closed over any inspirations, but let's just say maybe if you are not connected emotionally with this fragrance, there are amazing inspirations that are much more affordable and they get the same job done basically. I have here, I actually wanted to look up the other sample, but I will just mention it. So I have here Secret Musk from Lush, and I also want to highlight a fragrance called Noir from Paris Corner. So in case you don't want to spend the money on Arabian Tonka, like I've mentioned, if you are not perhaps emotionally connected with this fragrance like I am, you just want something that smells very similar, either Secret Musk, either Arabian Tonka. All these three fragrances are made around a beautiful, spicy, saffrony, sugary accord with some oak moss, with some amber in a sense. They are extremely sweet, but the sweetness comes from the sugar. So it's a very sugary sweetness with lots of depth from the oak moss. You also have this dry green undertone to the fragrance. You also have a beautiful, translucent, transparent facet throughout the scent composition, and that saffron adds a gorgeous spicy touch in the opening. I love to use this fragrance, or let's just say these fragrances, this scent family in particular, mainly as a base, because it's such a heavy and robust fragrance, because it's such a dense fragrance, and because at the same time it's a pretty linear fragrance more or less, and a pretty simplistic fragrance in the sense that it doesn't go into 10 different directions. It doesn't have a crazy development, you know, it doesn't smell like one fragrance in the opening and then by the dry down it smells like a completely different fragrance. This is one of the most versatile fragrances you can have in your collection for layering purposes, and like I've mentioned, I love to use this one as a base. I love to layer this fragrance. This one, look, this is a new add to my collection, but this one in particular, I love to layer it with Burberry hair, any inspirations of Burberry hair. Legit, you guys, I have so many layering combinations with anything made around cherry, with anything made around tonka beans, with anything made around a sugary accord, with anything creamy, with anything. This is that kind of fragrance that, let's just say, if you wanted to have a signature fragrance, but you could tweak a little bit the finished product or like the finished scent in a sense here and there, use this one as a base, layer it with other fragrances on top, and this way you will always have a fragrance that smells like you, but different variations of you. Perhaps one day you feel a little bit more feminine and you layer it with, for instance, Red Velvet from Maison Asrar, which is in the video as well, by the way, or with Rave Now for Women, or with Yara, or with Lovely Cherry, or with Lush Cherry, or with anything, or with Vanilla 28 from Kayali, or with 28 Flavors, which is the oil inspiration from Rogue Perfumes. I feel like this, you could generally tweak it in such a way that you can make this DNA go into a very feminine and dainty and pretty direction. You can make it feel very bold and seductive. You can make it feel very mysterious and opulent and heavy and dense and complex. It's up to you. It's up to you, but this is the kind of DNA that just morphs so well and so beautiful with so many other fragrances. So in case you haven't tried this DNA, I would actually recommend you to start with a sample either of this fragrance, either of Noir d'Arabie, and try to explore. just go to your fragrance collection, don't think too much about it, and just smell around the fragrances and apply them on different parts of your body and see how you feel about the layering combo. Because look, layering at the end of the day is something extremely subjective. Just because, I mean, look you guys, what makes a layering combo a good layering combo? If you enjoy it. No, like legit, if you enjoy it, it's a good combo. If you don't enjoy it, it's not a good combo. You try it with something else. This is why maybe some of my layering combinations will work for you, maybe some won't. But anyways, just go to your fragrance collection, look at your fragrances, just smell a few fragrances and just explore. Just explore, just have fun. Fragrance is not that serious, you guys. Fragrance is legit not that serious. Like, you can legit wash it off just like makeup. This is why. Turn off your brain, tune into that creative side, you know, and just have fun. So yeah, let me continue with the next heavier fragrance that I use, again mainly as a base, but if you have a taste like mine, then I'm sure this one will be for you. Again, an extremely versatile fragrance to have in your collection. And the next fragrance, I will only show you the inspiration because at least here locally in Romania you cannot find the OG fragrance anymore. This is December Vanilla from Paris Corner. And this is their inspiration of Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli from Kayali. Now you guys, this fragrance, this is a boozy fragrance. This is boozy, this is sugary, vanillic, with a balsamic patchouli accord and with some woody facets in the background. But this is such a beautiful gourmand take on a patchouli forward fragrance. Like, it opens up with the smell of rum essence. Like, if you remember, like during holiday when you would cook with your aunties, with your mother, perhaps grandmother, I don't know, with the women in your family, you would make like what's the word? I genuinely have no idea how this is called in English because I haven't ever used this word. But if you have ever made this, you know, and where you used a lot of rum essence, that's the exact rum essence. It's just here in the opening, it's paired with a little bit of a creamy pudding like vanilla that will turn into a balsamic vanilla pot type of vanilla, with a beautiful brown sugar accord, a lot of patchouli that adds this grounding green energy to the fragrance. Not very mentholated. To me, it's more slightly earthy, slightly green, slightly grounding, but overall it just adds a darker energy to the fragrance, and with a woody accord in the background. Woody suede accord, because it's dry like a suede woody accord, you know. You guys, I can tell you, when was it? Like last winter, one of my go-to fragrance combinations was not this one in particular, but the DNA of this one, like Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli with Noir for Women by Tom Ford, or with a fragrance that's discontinued called Sajaya Gold. But yeah, in case you have it, try this fragrance combo for sure. In case you don't, try it with anything like Noir for Women, even with Arabians Tonka. You guys, surprisingly, at least I myself, I love to layer two heavier fragrances. I know, again, the fragrance police tells you that you should layer a lighter fragrance with a heavier fragrance. Two heavy fragrances never work. They can work. Like, if you have a nose and you are able to pick up what one is missing, or not even missing, or what would you like to add to the other, they would work amazing. Yeah, just again, try and have fun. This is the only way you can develop your nose, just by smelling dozens of random fragrances, you know. But again, this, you guys, this is a gourmand fragrance, but with lots of depth, you know. It makes, the fact that it has the gourmand quality makes it feel very like playful and flirty in a way, but the fact that you also have this beautiful darker accord, let's just say, that add a lot of depth to the fragrance, and they make it feel very complex. You also have this layer of something that's very mysterious and seductive in a sense, you know. It's not just that juvenile, very uplifting, very fun, very happy kind of gourmand. It's a gourmand that feels mysterious, it's a gourmand that feels seductive, and again, it's a gourmand fragrance with a lot of depth that works amazing in so many layering combinations. If you have Coffee Addict in your collection, layer the two. If you have Vanilla 28, layer the two. If you have Majd al Dahab for Women from Junaid Perfumes, layer the two. If you have Moattar Dhahab for Men from Junaid Perfumes, layer the two. If you have Noir for Women, layer the two. If you have Eclaire by Lattafa, by the way, layer the two. Or Caramel Cascade from Paris Corner, layer the two. In general, this DNA works very well layered, either with anything lactonic, like with a creamy lactonic accord, either with something with creamy lactonic and spices, either with other sugary fragrances, or all in all with very sweet gourmand fragrances. because it will just add a beautiful grounding sensation to them, you know. It will make them, it will give them a more complex, yeah, overall just more complex and more edgy vibe to them. Oh, again, anything with coffee, anything, let me think, intense cafe, roses, vanille even. Actually more intense cafe, because intense cafe has an added creaminess, like an underlying creaminess to it. Let me think what other fragrances. Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of other combinations. If I remember any other 11 combinations that I will do, I will just add them here on the screen. But let me continue with the next fragrance. Now look guys, to me, again, this has the potential to be a signature worthy fragrance for someone. Unfortunately, I'm not a person that can have one signature fragrance, and even if I were to have one signature fragrance, that would be Sajak Gold from Junaid Perfumes. So yeah, but this fragrance is definitely an amazing fragrance to me. This is, by the way, Amberythme from Afnan, from the Edict line. This is, I think, a more premium line from the house, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this is an extrait de parfum. This opens up, this is such a beautiful fragrance, you guys. Every time I smell this fragrance or every time I wear this fragrance, this is amazing, you guys. This smells, just think, you get that apple pie resemblance that you have in Khamra by Lattafa, or in DNAs, or in fragrances inspired by Angel's Share. It's the same apple pie, just here it's more molecular. It's like a reinterpreted. It's like a fusion on the DNA of an apple pie, with spicy, like think powdered ginger with a little bit of vanilla, with a little bit of oak moss, and with that beautiful translucent transparent facet from Baccarat Rouge, from Instant Crush. It has that transparency that fragrances like Baccarat Rouge have, like Instant Crush have. And in a sense, it's almost like you get a whiff of Khamra with a whiff of Instant Crush. That's the best way to describe it. And why I say that you get whiffs is because the texture of this fragrance feels very cloud-like, very, what's the word, not soft. Basically, it's not very dense and opaque. It's very translucent and the opposite of light, I guess. Light, from like a light to heavy perspective. It almost feels like it floats around you like a cloud of fragrance. And it's such a minimalistic and chic and statement fragrance, but it's a very modern fragrance at the same time. Definitely a very modern fragrance. It's that chic day-to-day fragrance. It's a little bit edgy and very loud, you guys. Please be careful with how many sprays you do of this fragrance. I've had, even though in plenty of my videos I've mentioned, please don't overspray this fragrance, sometimes I still don't listen to my own advice. One day, it was during the heat wave we had in Romania, I went out with my partner and with some friends of ours, and I decided, you know what, I was feeling a little bit edgy that day. I had more like an edgy outfit. I was like, you know what, let me just wear this fragrance, because it smells in a sense effortlessly chic. This is what I love about it. Sophisticated and statement at the same time. I did, I don't know, above 10 sprays, you guys. Not only that I was choking myself, and not even this, I was choking my partner, okay? Not even that I was choking him with my fragrance, I was choking myself with the fragrance. I had to open all the windows from the car because I felt like I was about to throw up because of how much I applied this fragrance. I know it was during a heat wave. Definitely was not the best choice of moments to wear this fragrance. But this is such a strong fragrance. And like I said in previous videos, with other heavier fragrances, especially think anything resinous balsamic, that's so heavy and dense and opaque and complex, it's intuitive to not do 30 sprays of this fragrance. But with this fragrance, because you smell it, and even though it's not a soft fragrance, but it's such a cloud-like, minimalistic, airy, molecular fragrance that you are tempted to do a lot of sprays. Don't, you guys, don't, because you will be choking yourself out, like I did, yeah. But still, with all this out of the way, it's a beautiful fragrance to use. And you know what I have noticed this fragrance does to plenty of other fragrances? It just lifts the DNA. You know how you would layer a fresher, citrusy forward fragrance on top of a heavier floral, fruity forward fragrance, for instance, to add a little bit of freshness? To me, you can do the same thing with a lot of other fragrances. Think amber ou tobacco from Al Haramain. Think anything with a tobacco accord. Ocean from Parfum de Marly, Khamra even. Anything with an apple pie facet, anything with an apple pie-like facet, or anything with a sweet tobacco, you could use this fragrance to lift the DNA because it's so molecular. In a sense, it feels like it envelops the other fragrance and it just makes it go a little bit brighter, breezier, and it just adds this transparency throughout it, you know? Amazing fragrance, amazing fragrance. I remember someone commented under one of my videos. That person was very upset, was very disappointed. That person said this fragrance smells exactly like Hamra by Lattafa. To me, it doesn't. To me, it genuinely doesn't. It's different scent-wise. Of course, I do get the resemblances, which is the apple pie. But besides this is a reinterpreted fragrance in a sense. It's much more molecular, it's much more breezy, it's much more minimalistic in a sense. Yeah, to me, yeah. If you were afraid perhaps that it's too similar, to me it's definitely not too similar. Not to Hamra, the simple version, not to Hamra Kahwa, not to Royal Blend Nero. If anything, to me, this has the same level of translucency, if not a little bit more amplified as Royal Blend from Fragrance World. But it's a tad even more molecular. Yeah, so those were some heavier fragrances. Let's move on to a fragrance that I can choose to use it either as a base, either as a topper. It depends a lot on what I want to layer it with. This fragrance, you guys, is called Red Velvet from Maison Asrar. This is their inspiration of Burberry Her from Burberry, but to me it's with an amplified ambery oak mossy translucent accord. So yes, you have that beautiful sweet artificial fake strawberry that you have in Burberry Her. Here you also have some sweet citruses. I think the sweet citruses from the opening of Amber Oud Gold from Al Haramain, those kind of sweet citruses, but here they are paired with a beautiful fake artificial strawberry that sits on this dense, rich, complex base of an oak moss accord with a dry woodsy accord and with a beautiful translucent ambery facet. So this, in this sense, it's almost like you were to layer Baccarat Rouge with Burberry Her. This is how this fragrance would smell like in a sense. Like I've mentioned in plenty of videos, to me it's actually a tad darker and more complex in a sense than Burberry Her. But again, if you love the DNA of Burberry Her and if you wanted to try something like this, please try this fragrance. I know a lot of people say that it's hard to find it where they live. I'm sorry, you guys, I cannot recommend. If you're based in the US, I have no idea what websites to recommend you there. All I know is I've had people from the US who gave me feedback, like amazing feedback on this fragrance. Now look, I'm not saying this is supposed, by the way, keep in mind, this is supposed to be an affordable fragrance. 30 euros maximum, I'd say. Locally, it's even more affordable than this. So for this price, it's amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. Again, if you have been watching my videos for a while, you know I've recommended this fragrance in so many videos. You can use this fragrance, let me just grab it. You can use this one as a base and you can layer on top other fruity fragrances. Think again, Burberry Her Elixir or Rave Now for a Mint from Lattafa, which is an inspiration to Burberry Her Elixir, Yara by Lattafa, anything with a candied strawberry, Mula Mula, you guys. This one layered with Mula Mula. Or if you don't have Mula Mula and if you were looking for an inspiration, Mojo from Twins Paris. This one layered with Mojo from Twins Paris on a summer night out. It's a vibe. Honestly, it's just a vibe. I love this fragrance, you guys. This one layered with heavier fragrances. Think Arabians, Tonka, Noir d'Arabie, Secret Musk from Khadlaj, you know, that kind of fragrance family. Yeah, they would, or even Baccarat Rouge. If you have Baccarat Rouge, why not? Or if you have other inspirations of Baccarat Rouge. All in all, this is a fragrance that you can either use as a topper to lift other heavier DNAs. Think anything sugary with oak moss, you know. Since you already have an oak moss accord here, they will just melt into one another. Or you could use this fragrance as a base and apply other fruity or like fruity forward fragrances or citrusy fruity. I think the baseline is to be sweet and not too refreshing, because if it's too cold and refreshing, because of the sweetness of this fragrance, they might clash or crash a little bit. But as long as it's sweet and you apply it on top to lift the DNA and to add a more diverse of a fruity accord, let's just say, this works amazing. This with, like I've mentioned, Yara, Rave Now for Women, Mojo, Mula Mula, Amber Oud Gold from Al Haramain, because that is a very sweet citrusy forward fragrance. Yeah, amazing fragrance. And again, extremely versatile. My all-time favorite combo with this fragrance is with Arabians Tonka, like hands down, I can vouch for that combo. Like, it's amazing. If you have this one, or if you have, and if you have the other one, please try that combo. I cannot tell you the amount of amazing feedback I received on that combo alone. And the amount of compliments in like my day-to-day life, but also the amount of amazing feedback I received from you. So yeah. Now let's move on to the lighter fragrances that I mainly use layered as toppers in different layering combinations. And let's start with some creamier fragrances. Let me start with a fragrance called Nebras by Lattafa. Again, this one as a standalone fragrance, it's beautiful, but for my taste, I definitely prefer it layered. I mainly use it layered. As you can see, I still have the 20 ml version because I mainly use it layered. I rarely use it as a standalone fragrance because usually even on a day-to-day basis, I prefer fragrances that are a little bit heavier or a bit more complex, or just all in all just heavier, let's just say, you know. But this, if you have it in your collection, definitely don't skip out on layering it, you guys. This layers so well with so many other fragrances. This opens up with a minty facet, you guys, and under that review where I have mentioned this aspect, some people were like, mint, where is mint, like your nose is broken or something like this. Other people were like, oh my god, I cannot believe you were the first person to point out that minty accord. So some people get it, some people don't get it. Personally, I do detect the mint. Mint with a gentle cocoa powder accord and with a beautiful creamy muted vanilla in the background, like a vanilla lactonic almost accord. All in all, this is just a very creamy fragrance, quite delicate, quite suave, quite gentle. Imagine like a creamy vanilla with something lactonic there in the mix, so it's not very sweet, the creamy accord. Then you add some dusty instant cocoa powder, that like Nesquik type, you know, that you have in Choco Musk as well. And this is pretty much the fragrance. This is not a very complex fragrance, but it's a very beautiful, uplifting fragrance. It's a happy fragrance. Again, it's a smart gourmand to me. It's a gourmand fragrance that doesn't feel sickly sweet. It's a gourmand fragrance that you can definitely wear on a day-to-day basis. The only downside, you might have to reapply the fragrance. Personally, I don't find it very strong. But again, when it comes to such affordable fragrances, like, can you really complain that they don't last like 10 hours on the skin? Personally, I don't complain anymore, you know, like I don't. It's beautiful. I find it very comforting for some reason. I find it very relaxing. It feels cozy, you guys. Now, this DNA Nebras would layer amazing if you want to make it last longer. Choco Musk, Cacao by Fragrance World, Chocolate Greedy from Montal, but also you can use it layered with fragrances like Trésor la Nuit from Lancôme, Jazab Gold by Ardel Zafran, Modest d'Euphoria from Afnan. What other fragrances? Let me think. These are the main combos that come to my mind, but I'm sure this legit works layered with everything, you guys. This, by the way, this works layered very well with December Vanilla from Paris Corner. This works layered very well with Intense Cafe from Montal. This works layered amazing with Coffee Addict by Theodoros Kalotinis. This works amazing layered with Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli and or December Vanilla. I feel like I've mentioned one of the two, but I don't remember which one. Yeah, with this kind of fragrances, what I feel like this fragrance will do, it will add a beautiful round creaminess to all the other fragrances that I have mentioned. Even though it's sweet, it's not sickly sweet for sure. Yeah, very versatile fragrance to have. And speaking of creamy fragrances, let me highlight another fragrance from Lattafa. Let me highlight a little bit Eclaire. To me, Eclaire could be like a distant cousin to Nebras. Let's just say not necessarily scent-wise, because I do detect differences between the two. It's just the energy they embody. Very light-hearted. Both are more subtle and muted, non-scream, non-shout, you know, more like those like delicate and suave fragrances that you could wear on a day-to-day basis, those elevated gourmands that do not feel juvenile or very youthful at all. Let me just spray this fragrance and tell you how it smells like. This, you guys, this is all about Tonka being in the opening. I love the opening. Look, if this fragrance would have performed a little bit better, and I'm hoping it would if I let it sit, I would definitely love to have a full bottle of this fragrance. This for a day-to-day, you're running quick errands, you just, let's just say, you're going with your friends, you're going with your mother out in town, you're going, I don't know, to visit someone, you're going to the groceries, you're going to walk in a park, to a tea, to a coffee, to, I don't know, any occasion basically. But you just want to feel feminine. This is the fragrance. And not only this is the fragrance as a standalone fragrance, but this is the fragrance that you can apply as a topper to so many other layering, not layering, to so many other fragrances, sorry. Because to me, what it will add, again, it will add this beautiful milky lactonic facet with a little bit of honey, because it does have this beautiful honey-like sweetness, a little bit of powdered sugar sprinkled on top. And imagine you were to grate a little bit of the tonka bean, because you also get that beautiful tonka bean scent that lingers from the opening up until the dry down. It's a beautiful fragrance, not the strongest one. I'd say, at least at this moment, strength-wise, it's similar to Nebras. So yeah, that's about that. But this would layer so well, you guys, with legit with anything in your collection. Even with Arabian Tonka, it would layer so well. Because again, you have that sugary quality in Arabian Tonka, you know? Yeah. Try, get a sample, get a decant, start with a sample for sure, see how you feel about it on your skin. But speaking of this scent family, I also want to highlight this next one. This is Caramel Cascade. For some reason, because it feels like a more robust of a scent profile on its own, I do think this would layer, I feel like it would layer with more fragrances in my collection. Look, when I smell this fragrance and I smell the tonka bean, I can only imagine how beautiful it would layer with Hypnotic Poison from Dior, you guys. That is a very seductive and sensual, very feminine and cozy fragrance. If you have that fragrance, if you have this fragrance, give the layering combo a go. What I feel like it will do, it will add a little bit of complexity to the DNA of Hypnotic Poison, and it will amplify that tonka bean, you know. With the vanilla, it's just amazing, and with that beautiful honey-like quality. To me, by the way, this smells like you take the tonka beans, like if you know how tonka bean smells like, tonka beans smell like in real life, you have the scent captured here in such a realistic way. I cannot believe, honestly. So you take the smell of tonka beans, this beautiful rich nutty accord, you cover it in honey, and then you add a caramel vanilla accord in the background. This is how this fragrance smells like. I love, love, love how this fragrance smells like. Definitely much heavier compared to the one from Lattafa, and also much heavier compared to this one, to Nebras. Yeah, but it's an extremely versatile fragrance. This one layered with anything with cherry. This one layered with anything like Arabian Tonka in that scent family. This one layered with Hypnotic Poison. This one layered with, I will let here on the screen because I have written a lot of layering combinations. Also, guys, this one, by the way, these two layered with Noir for Women from Tom Ford. Mwah. Love the combo, love, love, love the combo. So definitely give this combo a go. So yeah, let me mention the other ones as well. So let's continue with the fragrance that I feel like some people love it, some people hate it. Personally, to me, it shines layered. As a standalone fragrance for my taste is again a bit too simplistic, but this one layered is amazing. This is called Yara by Lattafa. Let me tell you how this fragrance smells like. You guys, this is such a dainty, pretty, feminine, youthful smelling fragrance. Not youthful in a negative way with like a bad connotation, like it smells like a kid's fragrance or very juvenile, but it just feels so uplifting. Like, it smells very beautiful, you guys. To me, this smells legit, this smells like creamy strawberry cake frosting, like that cake frosting, strawberry flavor. This is the accord here. I also detect some sweet citruses here. And I don't know why I detect a creamy floral accord in the background, think something like a tuberose. But definitely the strawberry is the star of the show here. This fragrance is very creamy, it almost feels like tonic in a sense, you know. And again, this one layered with Mula Mula, this one layered with Red Velvet, this one layered with Baccarat Rouge, this one layered with Arabian Tonka, this one layered with so many other fragrances. This one layered with Nebras, by the way, this one layered with Modest D'Eau for Women, this one layered with Trésor La Nuit. Amazing, amazing, amazing combinations. Again, alone doesn't do much for me, but layered, it gets the job done. I can't tell you many things about this fragrance because I generally only use it layered, but to me, like I've mentioned, this shines the most layered. As a standalone fragrance, to me it lacks something. I mean, look, not that it lacks, it's just too simplistic, too bright, too girly, too pretty, too bubbly, too happy. But if you take this bubbly, pretty, happy energy and you add it to a fragrance like Red Velvet from Maison Asrar, like Arabian Tonka, like Noir d'Arabie, like Secret Musk, you combine this very, like I told you, dainty, pretty, feminine, girly energy, very bubbly and fun, with this beautiful, like dark, seductive, mysterious, bold kind of fragrance, you know? So you have the best of both worlds to me. To me, this is what this fragrance adds to any other fragrances. And speaking of extremely creamy fragrances, let me highlight another fragrance. This, I could say it's like a cousin to Yara by Lattafa. This is called Swar al Dahab. And this is from, it's a sub-brand of Afnan. It's basically Bait al Bakhoor. Let me, yeah, this is empty, haven't sprayed anything. Let me just spray this fragrance. This to me, you guys, this has a very interesting creamy accord. Someone told me this is an inspiration to a fragrance from Laura Mercier. Personally, I haven't smelled that fragrance, so I cannot tell you much about that. This to me smells like a sweet, ripe mandarin orange, so you have this citrusy quality, but it's not cold, it's not refreshing. I mean, it is a little bit cold in the opening, but it will get warmer, but it's not refreshing, it's not that icy cold type of citrus. With the smell of a body lotion, the creaminess is specific to the creaminess in body lotions, is legit that type of creaminess. So imagine you take a wrapped mandarin orange with almond and a little bit of coconut and vanilla, because you do have this nutty, almondy, coconutty, vanillic underlying accord that this beautiful sweet wrapped mandarin orange sits on top, but you make it in such a way that it feels very like lotiony and creamy, but like a body lotion kind of creaminess, you know. This is the fragrance. One of my best friends actually wears this fragrance. She purchased it herself as well, because she loves how it smells. And I have to say, every time we go out, she wears this fragrance, and I can tell you this, it just gives this beautiful, radiating, feminine, uplifting, happy energy. This is the energy of this fragrance. To me, it's actually a little bit less sweet than Yara by Lattafa, but it's just so beautiful. Again, you could use this one, especially layered with any body lotions. This is the kind of fragrance that would morph extremely well with anything with a very pronounced almondy facet, with something with coconut. Think like that suntan lotion coconutty fragrance, and you were to cut a little bit from that suntan lotion and you would add something like this. You could use this one as a base with other citrusy fragrances, you know, to make the citrus accord feel a little bit more diverse and complex, and also to add a beautiful creamier base to other citrusy forward fragrances. Anything with a sweet citrus, anything with a beautiful creamy fruity forward, anything with a beautiful underlying creaminess. Again, this one with Nebras, you know, all in all is an extremely versatile fragrance to have. Mainly I use it layered. Again, while we are talking about this scent family, I also want to highlight a fragrance. This is called Bouquet of Euphoria from Fragrance World. It's a fragrance I recently spoke about, and I told you, if you have a taste for fragrances like Yara, if you have a taste for fragrances like Swar al Dahab, if you have a taste for fragrances like Rave Now for Women, if you have a taste for fragrances like Italiano Donna, this takes a little bit of all these fragrances and it is a standalone fragrance to me. I don't want to go into too much details because I've already filmed a dedicated review to this fragrance, but let me just tell you this. This, you guys, here the creaminess, in a sense, it comes from the vanilla. Beautiful, with slight nutty facets, like, I think those nutty accents might come from the heliotrope. It's sweet, it's feminine, it's girly, it's a little bit more complex than Yara for sure. It smells pink and fluffy and creamy. I don't know why, to me now it smells like a creamy vanilla pudding. That the one that you purchase like with those instant packets, you know, when you make it at home very quick. With a beautiful nutty, powdery quality from the heliotrope. With something, with like a fruity accord, but it's a little bit more abstract, and with something, like something red fruity in a sense. I don't know. It's a very interesting fragrance, you guys. It's a very interesting fragrance, but I'm telling you this, if you love fragrances like Yara, Swar al Dahab, everything that I've mentioned, and you would like another fragrance in this scent family, yet that it has its own development, so it's not just a dupe to any of these fragrances, test this fragrance as well, watch the review, but this is an extremely versatile fragrance to use alone or especially layered, you guys. This is so playful and dainty and cute and pretty and girly and bubbly and happy and fun and flirty, and that's the energy, legit, that's the energy. Again, this one with Nebras, this one with Eclaire from Lattafa, amazing combo. I'm not really sure if I would use it with Caramel Cascade. Caramel Cascade might be a little bit too much for this fragrance, but again, if you wanted something like this, try this fragrance and see what you have in your collection. This would layer amazing with other creamy florals, creamy fruity fragrances, even with fragrances like Mula Mula, Mojo, again, that kind of vibe. amazing. So the next fragrance, again, I couldn't do a layering staples without mentioning this fragrance, because for me it truly was a staple. This one and her brother. This is called Majd al Dahab for women from Junaid Perfumes, and I've also had in my collection Majd al Dahab for men by Junaid Perfumes. I even have an older video where I compared the two in case you're interested. I know it's very old, so probably don't watch it, I don't know, but I have a video in case you're interested. Now this fragrance, you guys, to me, if you wanted a straightforward vanilla fragrance, you cannot go wrong with something like this. You cannot go wrong with something like this. And let me tell you something else. This fragrance, the more it is, the better it gets. When I first got the full bottle, after I've had a sample, the sample was much darker, like the color. Now this one got darker as well. And I feel like that vanilla pod underlying facet starts to shine more, you know? So it's not just this cupcakey like vanilla, this very kitchen pastry style of vanilla, no. To me, this smells like a very sweet vanilla pod in a sense, but without that balsamic quality being so accentuated in a way. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I don't know why I get a slight fume vibe from this fragrance as well. You cannot go wrong. This is legit the kind of fragrance that you can apply on top of anything else in your collection. Also, it's extremely affordable. By the way, you can also get it now in 150 ml. I saw this a while ago on Junaid Perfumes Instagram page, if I remember correctly. Or was it Fragrance Arabia? I'm not really sure, but one of the two anyways. But they sell it now in 150 ml. A staple. You cannot go wrong with something like this. The presentation is beautiful. It has amazing, beautiful, like glittery particles inside. It's just all in all a beautiful gift to make, or a beautiful fragrance to have for yourself even. I love it. I love it, yeah. I simply love it. What can I tell you more? Now let me close off the video with a cherry forward fragrance. So you guys, I have here Lush Cherry, but you can also, any inspirations of Lost Cherry, it will get the job done. Just think how beautiful this would smell like paired with something like Nebras, paired with something like Eclaire from Lattafa. So you would add a beautiful lactonic facet to the cherry. Amazing, genuinely amazing. And not only this, I mean, yes, you could use this one as a base and you could add other creamy lactonic fragrances as a topper, but you could also use this one as a topper when you layer it with other heavier fragrances. So you would add just, it would amplify the cherry facet. If you have anything with, for instance, this would layer amazing with Khamra, this would layer amazing with Khaltat Night, anything inspired either by Lost Cherry, not by Lost Cherry, by Angel's Share, or similar to Khamra, even Khamra Kahwa. Anything like Modest Dough for women, anything with cherry, suede coating, mandor letting, cherry punk. If you would like to amplify the cherry facet even more, this is the fragrance. Anything like this. I just received this one from the Dubai collection, so this is the one I have and I love it. But I have also tried, now this is Lush Cherry. I've also tried the one from Paris Corner, but I don't remember the name of this fragrance. Yeah. Again, extremely versatile. This as a standalone fragrance, it's pretty simplistic in the sense that you have the accord that smells like cherry compote. So you have the smell of cherries with bitter cherry. They're like sweet and, what's the word, like tangy? Sweet and sour cherry like facet with a beautiful nutty almondy quality and a little bit of vanilla. And as the fragrance develops, let's just say that very pronounced sweet and tangy facet from the cherry tones down a little bit and is the nutty accord that shines a lot. And to me, the nutty accord smells like cherry pits in a way, you know, like cherry pits with vanilla. Yeah, this legit works so well, layered with so many other fragrances, you guys, like, yeah. Even I have mentioned this fragrance in plenty of layering videos, this scent profile in general. And again, this one as a standalone fragrance, I rarely reach for it as a standalone fragrance. I mainly prefer this profile layer with other fragrances, this with Arabians Tonka. Even this fragrance, you guys, with red velvet, just like cherry and strawberry, with a nutty vanilla quality and with an underlying ambery oak mossy base. Amazing. This one with Arabian Tonka, amazing. This one with Nebras, you guys, amazing. With anything creamy. This one with Eclaire from Lattafa, anything creamy lactonic, it will just smell amazing. So yeah, those were the fragrances, you guys. I could have included a few more. I wanted to include the oils as well, but I'm not sure if the oils from Rogue Perfumes will be available when I post this video, and I've already mentioned them so many times. And that oil that I love, my favorite one, 28 flavors, it's still out of stock. I don't know exactly when they will bring it back in stock. I was told it's supposed to be in the near future, but until they will bring it back in stock, I'm not going to mention it anymore because I don't want to tease you. But in general, you guys, if you wanted an inspiration to Vanilla 28 from Kayali, that smells just like Vanilla 28 from Kayali at a fraction of the price in oil format, and you can use it layer with anything, legit anything under the sun. Get that oil. I can guarantee you, you will love it, you will not be disappointed. So yes, you guys, these were the fragrances that I wanted to show them in today's video. These are staples for me, at least for my taste, in my collection. When it comes to layering different fragrances, these are mainly fragrances that I gravitate a lot towards them. I always reach for them when I want to layer my fragrances, even though I do layer, let's just say, 2 fragrances one with another. But I have a lot of fragrances that I mainly use either as toppers, either as base with other fragrances, because they just work so well and they add such a beautiful energy and they just blend so well with the other fragrances in my collection. So yeah, let me know what are some of your staples when it comes to layering. Let's all exchange recommendations, you guys, and let's just all smell amazing together. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you found this video. If you enjoyed it, please like the video because it helps me a lot with the algorithm. Leave me a comment down below if you want to tell me anything, any fragrance requests for me to review, any video ideas if you'd like me to do in the future. Definitely put them in the comment section, or if you just want to tell me anything else, and I promise I will get back to you. Don't forget you can follow me on Instagram. I will leave my handle up here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe I will do more layering videos in the near future because I genuinely love layering, you guys. And when it comes to layering, there are no rules. Don't believe those people who tell you about the rules when it comes to layering. There are no rules. As long as it smells good to your nose, I guess that's the only thing that matters at the end of the day, doesn't it? So yes, thank you so much for watching. I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye, guys.